everyone. Welcome back to Honestly Hannah, a podcast hosted by me, Hannah Coda, where I share all my honest opinions about all things going on in the world. I'm treating this podcast like a diary, and trust me, I have a lot to say. Welcome to this week's episode. I'm so freaking excited. I have a professional in the wellness world, in the manifestation world, but she also just happens to be my best friend as well. This is Imani. She is the owner and creator and just amazing person over the brand Raeon Collective. She offers a bunch of different services, tarot services, birth chart readings after this episode. You guys can go check her out on her website. I'll be linking all her information on my Instagram and all my other socials. But yeah, Imani, thank you so much for being on my podcast.
Hi, everyone. I am Imani Rae. I am so excited to be here. I've been friends with Hannah for most of our lives, so I'm so excited to be able to dig a little deeper into her birth chart. So I kind of wanted to talk and share a little bit about what I do at Raeon Collective. I'm a tarot reader, so I do tarot services and everything like that. I also have one-on-one manifesting services. I've manifested so many things for myself, and I want to teach others how to do it for themselves as well. I also offer birth chart readings, so that's what we're going to be jumping into today, which I'm super hyped about. I also have manifesting intention bundles, crystals, and different things like that. So make sure to check out the website. And also, if you would like to purchase anything, feel free to use code collective11 for anything as well.
Dang. Okay, cool. You guys even have like a code if you're watching this episode or listening to this episode. Okay, cool. Yeah, Imani, do you want to tell everyone how you kind of got into this? I know it's kind of fairly new in your life. I want to say what, like over the last year or two, you really started diving into all this, but I think we've been really interested, I think, in this world just like for a while. But yeah, how did you get into tarot readings and manifestation?
Yeah, so I first heard about like manifestation through The Secret. So I actually, like when I was a kid, like I watched The Secret with one of my friends, Mariah. You obviously know her, Mariah. We watched it, and that's kind of how I first learned about law of attraction and manifesting and everything like that. But recently, this past year, I got a professional birth chart reading, and that like changed my life. It really like changed everything. And I also just really got into spirituality. I got more into crystals and everything like that. And I bought my first tarot deck, and I just felt really called to do it. And I literally just, when I got it, I just posted on Twitter. I was like, if anyone wants a reading, like, let me know. And literally, like, 30 people messaged me wanting a reading. And so for the next weeks, like I was just doing all these readings for free because like for practice and stuff. And so, and keep in mind, I didn't know anything about any of these people. Like all I asked for was their like birthday, and that was it. Like I didn't ask for any like other information.
What you did for me too. Like,
yeah.
I mean, Imani knows me. Obviously, we've known each other for a very long time. But like, you know, that's all you really asked was my birthday, where I was born, and now she has all this information for me. So, and I'm assuming that's also what's available on your website, right?
Yeah, so for the tarot readings, usually all I need is just your birthday. If you do want like a full in-depth birth chart reading, I do need your birthday, your birth time, and your birth like location. So those are like the three pieces of information that I need. And that's pretty common with any type of birth chart reading because that's how you find out basically everything. And so that's just the information that is required. And it's also you can put in that information on my website as well.
Yes, I'm so excited. Okay, so I don't know anything, y'all. So I talked about this on my podcast. Like I'm super interested in astrology, not astronomy, two different things, right? This astrology is a social science, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a social science. It is not an exact science. However, a lot of people do believe in it. A lot of people don't. I am a believer. I do believe that everything happens for a reason. I believe that there are certain forces like in our world, and we do have certain commonalities depending on when you were born. Obviously things that might change it down the road and like how you react to things, blah, blah, blah. But innately, I think we all like have certain qualities based on this social science, right? So I'm so excited. Okay, before we go into it, I haven't heard anything from you. You haven't told me anything. I just gave you my information about a week and a half ago, and you researched what everything means in terms of my birth date and all that. Before we go into anything, do you know me? So do you think it was correct? Like, do you think it lines up with who I am?
It was so funny because like I didn't even ask Hannah any questions of things she wanted to know. But there was things like I'll tell you right away like what I wanted to know. And it makes a lot of sense. So yeah.
Oh, I'm so nervous. I mean, I love this kind of stuff. I really do. Like I like to self-reflect. I like to be aware of how I'm projecting and how I'm seen. That's something that's really important to me. And so, yeah, I love this kind of stuff. Okay, Imani, so let's start. Let's begin. So I have mentioned it on the podcast, but just as a little refresher, I was born in September 25th, 1995. I was born in Southern California, and I was born, I believe, at 8:30 in the morning. So I was a planned C-section. So my mom and my dad know exactly when I was born because I was literally like, they were prepping all weekend because they knew I was going to be born. Because they had to schedule the surgery. So I was born at 8:30 in the morning. Okay, Imani, go ahead.
Yes. So that's literally all I asked Hannah was for her birth date, her birth time, and her birth location, the city. And that's all I needed. And so basically what I did was I pulled up her chart. I saw where everything was. And she was right. A lot of it is in Libra, but just because most of it is in Libra, it all means something different. Okay. So we're going to get into going into each one, what it means, and what those kind of qualities and everything kind of comes from it. So the first thing that we all know is our sun sign. So that is based on our birthday. So you are a Libra. But what is interesting about your sun sign is that you're also in the 12th house. So
right, yeah.
Which is really interesting is like most of your or all of your Libra placements are in the 12th house. And so the 12th house is something that you probably don't really realize that you have, but you have a lot of like intuition. You have a lot of kind of like subconscious knowing, kind of like being able to really trust your gut and really follow that. So that 12th house placement is in with every time you see Libra, that also shows up. So the fact that the sun sign, this is kind of like what we kind of see, like everyone kind of sees you as like in a way. So it's kind of like our mask to the world. So it's kind of like how people see you, how people perceive you. And so you definitely do come off very Libra energy, very balanced, very, analytical in a way, kind of being able to kind of dictate the situation and kind of know how to manipulate certain situations in a way to have it favor the most amount of people. You're also really big about equality, and that also will come up a little bit later when we talk about your college degrees and everything that you majored in, because that does play a part in that later. So this also just points to your ego. So this is kind of how you come off. This is also how people see you. So Libras are also very known for being very beautiful, being very attractive, also being very just also with liking beautiful things, liking luxurious things. That also comes up later, which I'm excited to mention that because it connects a point, which I was like wondering about. But yes, so that luxury, that nice thing, that is all very Libra energy as well. And then we're going to get into the moon. So the moon sign is also really important. It's part of your big three.
It's inner, right? So
yes.
This is like how I feel inside. Just really quick. everything that you just said about my sun sign, 100% correct. And I think anyone that knows me would like also say that too. Like I'm very big on equality, seeing other people's sides. I'm very democratic. Like, yes, I can be on your side, but I also try to see all sides of the story in every single situation that I'm involved in. So yes, I just want to say my sun sign is very correct. So my moon, oh my gosh.
So your moon is all about your inner emotions. This is all about how you feel, how you deal with certain situations, how you deal with your emotions. So again, this is the moon in the Libra in the 12th house. So you handle your emotions very straightforward. You like to tell people exactly how you feel, and you're very clear about it because you have that like balance. So we'll get into it a little bit, but for example, there's a card in tarot called the Justice card, and that card is literally the Libra card. And so it has two scales, and so it just kind of shows that balance, that when you're having like certain emotions, you're able to kind of let it out and express it in a way where it's like you're aware of how you're expressing it. You're not overly emotional, and that is kind of one of the things about the moon. But to answer your question that I know you're probably thinking is, where does the dramatics and all that come from? So the dramatics,
it's true. Okay, like I am, yes, I am very straightforward. I like to be very clear in my emotions. If I feel like something is lacking or I need to express myself, I will tell you. And I think you know that too. Like I am like that in my personal relationships, my professional relationships, in anything that I'm feeling. I'm very intuitive. Like I'm very in touch with my emotions. However, I do tend to be a little dramatic sometimes and be a little over the top. So where does that come from?
So where that over the top kind of dramatic energy comes from is also when dealing with communication, or dealing with that inner like feeling. I also like to look at how you handle like aggression, like when you're anger, how you handle that. And then we'll also get into how you communicate, because that's also plays a factor too. But we're going to talk about where that aggression and everything, where that comes from. So that is ruled by Mars. So any type of aggression, assertiveness, everything that is ruled by Mars. And your Mars is in Scorpio in the first house. And so this not only means you kind of are, or not kind of, you are very passionate with how you express your anger. So you are very passionate, you're very confident, you're very assertive. It can also sometimes come off as very intense. But what's also interesting about this, since it also goes back to the Libra moon energy, it kind of goes back to that like strategic bit a little bit. So it's like, even when you are angry, you are still strategic about, and it's almost like a little bit, in a sense, can be manipulative, because it's like, you know how to like play the card. So what's interesting about this is in the first house. So this deals with how you see yourself. This also deals with early childhood. So, this could go a little bit deeper. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but this really deals with early childhood. This deals with how you see your self-image, which is very important to your moon sign. So, that also goes with, with the Scorpio, how you could be so confident and how you could do so many things and kind of maneuver through life as a child, is also really important because it's in the first house. And then this also points to temperament. So your anger, how you handled that, many times, like how you would handle things sometimes like as a child can sometimes still come up, and different things like that. So that is just where that kind of anger, aggression, and how you would deal with things if you are mad with someone or you're not necessarily like agreeing with them, in a sense, like you're upset. So that is where that kind of dramatics might come from.
I'm pretty open about my, early childhood. I don't know, I just keep thinking back to it. Like I grew up with siblings, so it was and like somewhat of like a chaotic household, you know, when I was a kid. So it was very much like you had to speak up, you had to say something, or nothing was going to get done. And mind you, my brother and my sister, whom I've had on the podcast, they're completely different. They're a little bit more introverted. They're a little bit more, my brother is definitely democratic, and I believe his moon is in Libra. And so it's kind of funny to like hear that. But yeah, like and it's so funny because I know there's going to be so many people listening and watching this and being like, yeah, Hannah, like this is exactly who you are. But yeah, I know that especially if I'm super passionate about the subject, and usually when I'm passionate about it, it has to do with some injustice or inequality where I'm like, no, that just doesn't sound right. Like, no, this is not feeling right. No, and it has to do a lot with inequalities and things that are, you know, I can't, I'm trying to think of a scenario like recently, or just like in last week's episode, you know, my listeners don't know this, but I had to cut out a lot of the subject of what I talked about, Asian hate and all of the Asian, you know, violence in the Asian community and towards the Asian community. So I had to cut out a lot of that podcast of that episode because I was just furious, and I was like, this is not representative of who I am, I guess, right now. But I mean, I do want to get the point across that I am very upset with this, and I am going to speak about it and talk about it when some people may like side with me and may think the same thing that I'm thinking, but not necessarily would talk about it on a worldwide podcast, you know? So yeah, that makes
and there's a reason for that too, why you are currently have a podcast and all that too. So
okay, cool. I guess it was timing, it was in the stars. Okay, what's next?
So we went over the moon, and the last part of the big three is the rising. So your rising also is in Libra, also 12th house. The rising really represents your like physical appearance, your early childhood, your goals, your identity, and who you are. So this whole theme of early childhood really does play a big part of who you are today. This also, just since it is in Libra, it just really shows the outward Libra. So this is like how you kind of just perceive yourself. You kind of, and also just how others kind of perceive you. So this is kind of like a combination of like both the sun and the moon. It's kind of a more well-rounded sense. And so this really gives you the, not only kind of the kindness of Libra, I feel like, in a sense, and I feel like also I feel like the word is like empath in a sense, because it does come through with just, I feel like with your moon in Libra and the other placements in Libra, that empath really also comes through, and people really do come to you for a lot of different things, and they really do confide in you. And I feel like that is another big thing that people can kind of see and gravitate towards. People are also really drawn to you in different ways, and we'll get into that with the next part, because I feel like this is kind of where things get a little bit more deeper.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, empath is a great word. Like I have no problem empathizing with people, or and you know, the difference between sympathizing and empathizing, I really try to put my shoes, or sorry, myself in other people's shoes with any situation. Like I said, it's very, however I am really in my personal life, I feel like I am in every aspect of my life. And so I try to carry that no matter what I'm doing, because, you know, I think I've just learned through my life experiences, through my childhood, early childhood, that everybody is always going through something. Everybody has a story, everybody has their own truths, their own narrative, and that we all have something to offer this world. And so I don't know, I just feel like not only am I potentially helping someone, but I'm also helping myself too, with learning about other people's stories, you know, so maybe I can help someone else, or it can help me later down the road. So yeah, I for sure agree with that as well.
Yes. And so the big thing that I was interested in and I was most curious was where your Mercury was in. So Mercury is all about communication, how you talk to people, but this is also about voice. And so what I was really interested in is because some people might not know this, but Hannah sings and she's actually a good singer. And so that's what I was curious about. And so this is what I found the most interesting is that you actually have some similar placements as Beyonce. So you have the same Mercury as Beyonce and also the same Venus as Beyonce. Okay. So we'll get into that a little bit more, but I just thought that was like super interesting when I saw that because I was like, let me look up Beyonce's chart and I was like, there was some commonalities. Okay. So basically Mercury, like I said, is all about communication. This is also about travel. And so the fact that you can sing, the fact that you currently have a podcast where you're using your voice, you're sharing your voice with people all around the world. Another big Libra energy thing is collaboration. So collaboration, because Libra also rules the seventh house, which is about partnerships and stuff like that. And so you're very good at collaborating with different people. You enjoy doing that. So the fact that you have this podcast where it's something where you use your voice, where you're able to collaborate with people and also able to share things that you're passionate about is something that definitely was eventually going to happen, whether you wanted to do it. But yeah, so
medium it was, this was going to happen. Sorry, guys. No, yeah, I agree.
And then, yeah, and so this also too kind of points to, since the Mercury also points to travel, and since it is in Libra, this also just points to traveling to beautiful places, loving and enjoying travel. And then it kind of like, I even thought a little bit more specific, even how you like to travel. So the fact that you like to travel in a more relaxed way, you like to kind of just enjoy the beauty, the calmness, the balance of things. You like things to be kind of go with the flow, kind of a little bit more of a relaxation. That is very Libra energy. So the fact that you do kind of prefer those types of travels and certain trips is very Libra energy as well.
Oh, for sure. So the first time I ever traveled outside the country, there were like different, I went with the travel company. So I went to London and I went to Paris, and there were a couple different options of different travel stuff that we can do. And my friends that I was going with at that time, I was like, guys, like there was a package in there that was basically in every hour of the day you were doing something. And I was like, that would be cool, but no. That's just like, of course I want to go to these places. Of course I want to experience like all of the beauty and like all of like the amazingness, but like, no, I want to be able to sleep and relax and just actually take in the things that were already on the agenda with the travel package that we went with. And so, no, that's 100% true. Like, no matter where I go, I'm just and I love to travel. I absolutely love to travel. It's one of the things that I'm always looking forward to, always trying to do next is travel. And yeah, I am not the person that you do excursion after excursion with. I'm the person that has like 1 or 2 excursions a day, maybe. And the rest of the time, like, I just want to take in the culture. I want to take in like what people are doing every single day in this city or town, wherever it may be. So.
Yeah, and that's definitely all about like wanting that balance too.
Yeah, for sure.
And then your Libra is in Venus as well. And so that's also the same as Beyonce. So this just also talks about
I can't. Like, please don't come for me. I'm not trying to say like I'm exactly like Beyonce, guys. Like, it's amazing. I think that's really cool. But like, I'm sure Beyonce, actually, hello, she has the most Grammys out of everyone. Like, she's winning always. So
the only reason why I'm referring to celebrities are specifically Beyonce in this case is because I feel like it just helps people understand a little bit more, because they can also go and see like if they're listening to this podcast, like they can go and see Beyonce's chart because it's public like information. And so they can also like look and see like, ooh, where are these placements at? Like, what is this? And just because you have similar placements as someone does not mean you're the same person or you're similar or anything.
Right.
For example, when we get to your soul's purpose, life purpose, everything like that, which is a little bit later, you could interpret it so many different ways, but we also have to look at all these other things. So that's why we're kind of going bit by bit.
So what Venus? What does Venus identify? Like, what is it? Like, what is it identifying?
So Venus is all about love. So this is how you have relationships, partnerships, love life, how you express love. That is all what Venus is about. And again, it's in Libra in the 12th house. So again, you express love very clearly to people. You like to let people know where you stand. You like to be clear, concise, and, you know, kind of to the point in a sense. And then that also, I'm going to bring up Mars again, because, you know, when you do get in arguments and certain things like that, that Mars would also come up in your romantic relationships as well. So you just have to remember that. And the fact that the Mars is in Scorpio is that just also points to that passion when arguments and certain things like that happen. So basically, also sometimes you can feel like being a people pleaser. That's like another common like Libra trait, wanting to constantly please your partner or please other people. But I also just feel like, in a sense, with that people pleasing mentality, you also know how to set boundaries. So I think that's really important, is being able to set boundaries and being very clear and concise about that. So those are, again, with the balance. It's kind of like a lot with this Libra energy is based on duality as well. So it's kind of like with one thing, you also kind of have to balance it out with the other.
Very true. Very, very, very true. That all is like, which is funny because my significant other's his Venus is in Libra as well, which is kind of interesting because, like you said, we have to look at everything, you know, and we can interpret it different ways. You know, we went through a very rough patch, you know, and you are aware, as a lot of other people, we've been together for almost 7 years, and so it's like we went through those ups and downs and through communication, but at the end of the day, I think we both kind of understand each other in our personal relationship and our love relationship, that we need to communicate 100% like what we're feeling, or it's very disingenuous, it's very unauthentic, and then it starts leading to so many other problems, and that's just not who we are, or that's not us. And so we very, not quickly, honestly, we didn't catch on to that really fast. It took a couple of years for us to realize we have to be as clear as we possibly can. And I've even given you know, this advice before, and honestly, I give all of my friends this advice because I have just found in my romantic relationships that everything has to be spelled out, because if you don't spell it out, then there's room for interpretation, there's room for mistakes, there's room for hurt. And and I want to do like a relationships like advice podcast eventually. I don't know, I want my significant other to come on for that one so that we can really dive deep and talk about the things that we've been through. But that is like my best advice. That's always going to be my number one thing, is for me and my relationship. And again, it could be different for everyone and how they communicate and how they deal with their romantic relationships, but really, I think if you want, you know, if you have certain expectations, you have to voice those expectations, or they're not going to happen. People cannot read your brain. Like, even someone you think you know so freaking well, which like could be the case with us. Like, I know you very, very, very well. We've gone deeps in the depths of our friendship, you know. I've told you, I mean, come on, Imani. Like, I've told you some things like, you're being a bad friend right now. Like, I'm gonna fight you. And we have physically fought before. So you're one of literally, I think you're the only friend I've ever physically fought. And maybe that comes from my Scorpio of being assertive, because we, you know, we would fight back and forth. And mind you, it wasn't a real fight. Like, clear, it wasn't a real fight. Obviously, we were just both very, I think, frustrated, and we didn't know what was going on in the situation. And so, I don't know. Like, we just in all of my relationships, I really just try to be as clear as I possibly can, because I know what happens when you're not. You know?
Yeah, that is so true.
What's next?
So the next thing is all about luck. So this is Jupiter. So this was like the next placement that I was really interested to look into for you, because I feel like you have relatively good luck with meeting celebrities, meeting famous people, just with certain other situations too. I feel like you've been extremely lucky. So I wanted to see where that is about. And so your Jupiter is in Sagittarius in the second house. So what that means is Sagittarius really points to travel. So this is where this travel kind of comes up again. So Sagittarius really points to travel, going on luxury trips, seeing the world, exploring, meeting new people, again with that communication, again with the collaboration, and wanting to kind of travel and go to different places and see different things. This also is very independent, can be argumentative. Also, you can be like a free spirit when you travel and when you like to go and do things like that. And then what the second house points to is this is all about material goods. So this is about money, security, income, expenses, everything like that. So that means you're also really lucky when it comes to money. And if you were to use more of your intuition and manifesting, you could probably manifest more money and more travels and stuff like that. But the fact that this is all under Jupiter, I feel like this is like a really good placement, because you have travel, you have money, and that feeling of security and stability. Because in order to be able to travel, you kind of, in a sense, have to have some sort of stability in yourself to be able to be comfortable to do that. So that was what I really found interesting. And I think that just is also how you get luck with certain things, is by if people are wondering, is look at your Jupiter, see where that placement is, and that is all about luck.
Yeah, no, for sure. I actually just booked a trip this past week. I didn't travel really at all during COVID. I mean, I hope no one did, but you know how I feel about that. I didn't travel at all during COVID, which kind of put me in shadow, or that's what I call it, or it kind of put me in like this just like, not depressive. I don't want to say depressive, because that's like a very serious word. It just put me in just like a sadder, I guess, just mentality, knowing that I couldn't go and explore, which, like, if you know me, I am not a free spirit. I am very much about an agenda. I like to stick to the rules. I do think rules can be broken, or there's easier way to do things, but I am very like organized and like to the point, and you know, whatever. However, when I do travel, I'm for sure more of like a free spirit. Like I am like, yeah, for sure, like whatever you guys want to do, like you want to go to dinner, like if I'm going somewhere, there's usually like I want to do one thing like really bad. Like when I went to London, I really wanted to go to the Warner Brothers studio lot to see all the Harry Potter stuff. And that was my one goal. After that, I was like, I don't care what we do. I don't care how long we stay. Like, this is all I want to do, like 100%. But anything else, like you guys want to go to the bar, you want to get drunk tonight, like whatever you guys want to do, I'm down. So yeah. And like, I think since I was a kid, like I've been wanting to travel, you know, so I have made that happen for myself. Like, I guess you can say I kind of manifested it, but I for sure was like, this is going to happen one way or another, whether I'm going by myself, with other people, whatever it may be.
So we are to the last part, the North Node. So there are some planets that we didn't necessarily discuss or bring up, but I just didn't bring up the other planets just because to keep time a little bit shorter.
Yeah, for sure.
But they all are relevant and they all are important. But we are going to talk about the North Node. So the North Node is all about our life's purpose, our soul's purpose, everything like that. I do want to just mention that we all have free will in what we choose to do. So people, you can make your own choice, you can make your own decision and be empowered to do that. When I found out, like once I got like my own birth chart reading, for me, I used it really to reflect and really to empower myself and really like it kind of like gave me like the confirmation that I needed for a few different things. So for me, that's what it helped me with. But I was already definitely going in that direction. So I felt like that is what it really helps me with. But yes, so we're going to talk about your North Node. It is in Libra.
What is it dependent on? Like
so,
what determines the North Node?
So the North Node, it doesn't have like a specific, like how the other ones have like planets. It's just its own thing. It's called the North Node. And there's also a South Node. So the South Node talks about karmic past, if you believe in that, past lives, different things like that. So that's kind of the South Node, but the North Node points to the opposite of that. So it's kind of like the future in a sense. So you can determine your North Node. Usually what I just recommend doing is going on Astro Cafe and typing in, when you type in all your birth chart information, you can see what your North Node is. So see where your North Node is, the placement, because yours just happens to be in Libra. Most people's don't, well, I guess it depends, but like for mine isn't the same as my other placement. So yours just happens to be. But so yeah, anyone can find their North Node. If they want to know more about that, I just recommend either getting a birth chart reading or looking online. But yeah, so yours is in Libra and it's in the first house. So this kind of encompasses kind of a lot of what we were talking about, but it's just like kind of combining all of it together. So I want to say something before I get into a little bit more specifics, but for example, everyone's North Node, even if they are in Libra, could mean a different kind of career or path. Like for example, some people might automatically say Libra would be a lawyer or would be this or would be that. And that is true for, like, I do know Libra lawyers and stuff like that, but you also have to look at the rest of their placement. So this is based off of your placements, but it's also based off of everything else to kind of combine this bigger picture of what you would be doing based off of everything else. So
hold on, before you go into that, those quizzes that we took as like kids and like in high school, when they were like, here's this, I think we took it together. I think we took psych together.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember this, but there was a quiz we had to take and it was like here, and it was like a really long, I think it was like 30 minutes or something. And then at the end, it told you the career path that you should try to go into. Mine was politics, like as a politician, and then, or anything like in the environmental like world. So, and fighting for those injustices. And I was like, okay, like, I guess I get it, because I do have like the assertive communication, but also like the motivation to correct injustices, right? So I got the politician part, I got all of that, but that could be the furthest away of what I'm doing in my career and like what I want to do. So that's just an example, I guess, of like what you're trying to say. Like we all know, like when we're kids and stuff, and like, you know, we're told, hey, you should probably go into this field or this field based on like certain personality characteristics. But I have always really enjoyed music and live entertainment, and that I feel like is my callings, but I'm very still much myself in this industry, you know? So yeah, just putting that out there.
I definitely agree with that. And so, and I think that's why like in the personality test, like I feel like that was very like different, like Libra type jobs, like where it's like balance, equality, different things like that. But what's interesting is that you can bring equality into really anything that you do. And so basically, when I was doing this, I did it obviously based off everything else, but I also was thinking intuitively about some of this too. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into that. So basically, this incorporates a few different things. So, like I said earlier, you're big on collaboration, you're big on working with people, you're big on travel, and you're big on kind of like that Libra energy of working with pretty people, working with famous people, working with celebrities, and different things like that. So what you really strive in is being able to be the voice and being able to be the face. So what I mean by that is by you having your podcast and you creating your own brand, not only is really helpful for that, but people are really drawn into that. So even when hopefully in the future and stuff, when you are working with more high profile clients or high profile celebrities and different things like that, you'll be able to not only communicate with them for them to, whatever you're trying to negotiate. And so that's what I kind of see you doing is working with like really high profile people and using that equality, that negotiation to be able to help them get further in their careers and different things like that. I feel like that is something that you would also be really good at based on the collaboration, based on it's something that you would be able to speak, and you would also get to stay in kind of the industry that you're already kind of in. And I think also with that, you can add the activist and the equality aspect to it, because when you are dealing with these people, I don't know if it's like going to be like as like a PR rep or, whatever it is, but you can, I feel like especially now, like a lot of people are rebranding, changing their image, doing stuff like that. And so I feel like a lot of people are trying to be more politically correct and certain things like that. So helping people kind of rebrand, refocus, stuff like that would be really helpful. Also just exploring new ideas and new like places, maybe being able to, obviously once pandemic is over, being able to travel for work, being able to meet with different clients and go different places and being able to really help them with their needs. So it's just like whatever specific niche. But I definitely see it where it's something where you're getting to work with these people and really getting to expand their brands, whether it's with music, whether it's with art, or whether it's with like any of the creative fields. And I feel like this is also, like I said, really connected to your Mercury of how you communicate with people, how you're able to kind of bring people in, and also just with your rising as people see you and how you present yourself, people are really drawn to you. And so basically what I'm saying is like just do something where you can communicate with people, do something where you can collaborate with people, and do something where you could really have your voice be heard for so many different ways to express all your passions. And another thing that people often think is that like people think it like has to be like one way, like, oh, like I can only do this one thing and I have to do it forever. And it's like, no, you don't. Like, I'm like, I don't know, like to me, I just don't prescribe to that. Like, I'm like, you don't have to do the one thing. Like, if you want to do multiple things and combine them all together, I feel like that's what life is about. It's not about just like, I mean, if you want to do the one thing forever, you can, but it's like, if you're good at multiple things, use those skills and do different things, do things that make you passionate, that make you excited, that spark your interest. And if it doesn't anymore, then it's okay to, move forward and do something else. And so that's something that I also like to tell people with that as well.
Yeah, for sure. I just had a conversation last night about just, I feel like I have so many different interests. I have so many different things that I just want to do and that I'm interested in. And it's so funny that you say that. Like I am definitely a person, I think everybody at this point knows that my dream job would to be to be a tour manager for an artist. Like that is my dream job. I've said that for a very long time. You know, Ariana preferably, but you know, any like pop artist, I can like stand behind their music. Like I have no problem sticking up for and managing, but also like the travel piece. So that's really funny because you know that too. Like, you know, I've always said that, like that is just what I want to do. Not obviously 100% there yet, but I am getting like one step closer, I think, eventually. But at the same time, a couple months ago, I was sitting down basically just having like a life journey, like talk with myself. And I was like, what do I want to do? I'm also very, very passionate about education. And I really think that giving back to the community that once served you is also very important. And so like a part of me wants to like go get my master's or go get my doctorate and like be a professor for at some point in my life. And those are very two, I feel like, opposite worlds, but at the same time, those are two things that I'm very passionate about and I do want to dedicate a part of my life to. It's probably not right now, honestly, because I don't have the like absolute desire to get back into education. I'm still very like, you know, I still do my research for the podcast and stuff. Most of it is pop culture, but I mean, you know, for the most part, but a lot of it is like an education piece. I really do like to research. I like to know things. I like to you know, do all that stuff. And I definitely think that's probably going to be a road I'm going to take later on in life. Yeah, it's also very important to me to be doing multiple things at the same time. You know, obviously I have a full-time job, but I also love to do this podcast and sit down every week and just talk about my emotions. Like it's very apparent to me that that is a need for me. Like it's not a want like anymore, at least. Like I need to sit down and voice my opinion, fight for the little guy, fight for, you know, something you may not think is right now, but is right down the road, you know? So yeah, and then I love working with people. I work with artists already right now. It's funny because one time I was working with Chance the Rapper and his wife was literally the nicest person I think I've ever met. And we were talking about certain like issues and stuff like that. And I had no problem voicing my opinion. She had no problem. But like, I don't know, it was just like this connection of like, hey, I'm helping you out, you know, at this event or whatever it may be. But I'm also like a person and I'm also like genuine and I like to talk. I like to talk just in general. And so, but I also just like to talk to people about real things and like have it somehow like advance their careers, you know? So when you were talking, like that scenario immediately came up in my head, you know, of like this situation that I had with him. And I love him. Like I love him so much. And so
yes, I literally saw him, like it was like the one concert we had at Davis, like the one concert. Oh my god, it was so amazing though.
Yeah, but they're great people. Like he is I'm not a Kanye fan and I have no problem saying that. I'm not a Kanye fan. I'm not a Kanye supporter. I don't believe in whatever, but I'm not that type of person. However, I do love Chance and I understand that a lot of Chance came from Kanye and all that stuff. However, Chance I believe has different beliefs in certain things that are very important to me.
Definitely, yeah.
So yes, I love him. He's one of my favorite rappers. So but yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I do need to be around people, and that's where I think I struggle too, because I'm introverted, but I'm also very extroverted. I need to be around people. I need to collaborate with people. I need to work with people.
And it's that balance.
Yeah, and it's that. Yeah, like I can, you know, be around 20,000 people one day and the next day be like, you know what? I just need to sit in my room and be with myself.
I feel you.
And that's just, I don't know, that's just how I felt, like how it's worked for me. And I always battle with that dichotomy though, because I think most people would say I'm an extroverted person, because when I'm with people and when I am working with people and we're going towards this goal and we're working together towards this goal is when I'm at my best, truly. It really is. However, there are times when I'm like, you know what, I need to take a day off. I can't be in this situation right now. Everyone is annoying me. I'm at my top. Like, I need to come home and just be in the silence, or watch my YouTube videos, watch my YouTubers for like a full day and escape. And I very much, honestly, I struggle with it because I do want to balance. I very much want to balance. But with COVID and the pandemic,
there's like really nothing.
And it's been hard for me, you know. I mean, obviously it's been hard for everyone. But that aspect of being productive and working with other people has, I feel like, has stunted me a little bit.
Yeah, because it's like a whole year with not working with anyone, and it's like, it is really difficult.
Yeah. And I crave that face-to-face communication. I always tell people, like, and again, this goes back to my clear and concise communication. I believe every conversation really needs to be made face-to-face. Like, obviously, especially if it's a serious conversation that you're talking about your feelings and your emotions or procedures, whatever it may be. Like, I believe pretty much almost every conversation needs to be face-to-face. However, I also think that everything needs to be in writing so that there's some type of follow-up as well. I always say everything needs to be in writing, because I also know with communicating with so many people and so many different types of people,
I always have the contracts. And that also, I forgot to mention it, but that is what I was thinking of earlier too, is like the idea of contracts and being able to just be clear with that. And again, that's like, again, if you interpret it like lawyer, that contracts, it's like, it just comes up in different ways. So that's like another thing too.
Oh yeah, no, I have a contract with everyone that I pretty much work professionally with. Like, if we have a conversation, I literally am typing the email as we're having the conversation. Per our conversation, this is what we had said. Because, and I'm not trying to say it like in a bitchy way. I'm not trying to say it and like, this is what we talked about. Like, no, I'm not trying to say it like that. And honestly, I don't say per our conversation, but I'm just saying like that. I'm very much like, yeah, so this is what we talked about. Just want to make it clear. And like whatever action type things that they need to do next, like that's what I will always put it in an email. Or have it written down somewhere. So I'm like, nope, on this day at this time you said this. And
yeah, because people try to come back on their word too, and it's like,
I've learned my lesson, and I'll say that. And it honestly, it didn't even come really professionally. It came personally too. And I guess not really in a lot of friendships, but I just had some friendships that people were being sneaky, and people were being, again, disingenuous. And that is like my number one trigger. Like, if you are not, and I understand that's a lot to ask of someone, but if you are not 100% being yourself all the time, it's a problem for me. It really is. And I found this out in my romantic relationship. That really is a problem for me. And like, that's okay. Like, if you don't want to be your authentic self all the time, I know that's really scary for some people. It's not scary for me, and I can see right through it. I can see right through it. And so I like to surround myself with genuine people. And if you are not currently in my life, it's might be why, to be honest. And there's nothing against you. It's just again, my communication is really clear, and I've most likely told them that, like, you are not benefiting. I don't want to say that, but like, I don't know. I feel like I'm very intuitive. Circle back all the way to the beginning. Very intuitive. All my friends know it. Like, if I don't like someone, you know that I don't like that person. And it's not, and like, for me, it's like, okay, like, I know everyone's different, and I understand that, and everybody's at a different part in their life. everyone's on a different journey, right? It took me a while, obviously, to get here to my authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I feel like I've gone through all of like the steps and all of the heartache, and I've gone through a lot of like real shit, like, to be quite honest.
Mm-hmm.
For me to just not want to surround myself with people who are going through that journey, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm past it. And I'm not trying to like sound like this like uppity person that like knows everything, but I'm just saying like I'm at a certain point in my life where I just want to be surrounded by people who know what they want,
Mm.
you know?
I love that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't know if that has anything to do with my birth chart, but I feel like I've always like that. That's always kind of been inside of me, you know? And I think it comes back to me just being very aware. I'm very aware of my surroundings. I'm very intuitive, and I know myself. And I did, you know, when you take that, what is it called? Myers-Briggs test.
Oh yeah.
J or whatever it may be. When I took it, I didn't think I was going to get intuitive, because I'm a very logical based thinker. But when I got like the eye for intuitive.
Oh my God. Go ahead. Continue. Something came in my head as well.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You know, I'm very logical in my thinking, but when it comes to making decisions, I'm very intuitive. I go with what my gut is telling me. I immediately get a bad feeling. Like, Imani, I immediately get bad feelings when I know I made the wrong decision. Like, immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like, and usually I do try to fix it. I do try to correct it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't live with that feeling. Like, I'm too intuitive to like ignore it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what I was gonna say, another thing about Libra, and the intuition and everything like that. Another thing about this sign is when I was talking about duality and I was talking about all that. Another thing that like popped up into my head when you were saying that is another thing about Libra is they also have, so it's this duality between everything. So that means there's also this duality between the spiritual world and Earth here where we are. And so it's like that duality between both. So that also adds like a little bit of extra intuitiveness into the Libra, because there is that duality between this realm and other realms, and being able to kind of, in a sense, like be able to balance both. And so that is another thing that is pretty interesting that I wanted to mention.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, like, I don't know. I take a lot of these, I love to self-reflect. Like, I love to self-reflect. I love to know more about myself, so that I can be more aware, right? You know? But whenever I take these tests, and even like professionally, I had to take, it's not a personality test, it's a motivation. I believe it's based on your motivation, like deep inside, like what motivates you.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, like, I just feel like I fit in so many categories. And
Mm-hmm.
that's always been a really, not an issue, because I feel like I can fit in with a lot of different types of people and a lot of different types of thinking. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but like when I take these tests and quizzes and like whatever it may be, I always feel like it's not 100% me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do have that duality a lot. Like I said, like, in that sense of, I'm a very logical thinker. I like to think that this will react to this and this will lead to this, and it makes logical sense to me. But at the same time, I have made decisions that were intuitive, that I had absolutely no logical reasoning to decide on, and I just went with my gut. And yeah, and it's like that with a lot of stuff with me. And so that really does explain a lot, because I do have a hand in many different areas, I guess I would say, in terms of like personality traits and like characteristics. Because like you just said, like, I can be very assertive and very passionate and like stick up for people, but at the same time, I'm also a person to step back from the situation and look at it from the three stories, right? So it's your story, her story, and what actually happened. I'm very much like, hold on, let me step back. let me see what's going on here from an outside perspective. And I pretty much do this with everything where there's conflict, right?
Yeah.
Even if I think that this person is 100% wrong, I still try, and like I can voice that, like, you're wrong, like, and it's clear, and it's like, nope, that's not what you should be doing, you should have done this. I can also step back and be like, I understand why you think that, and I understand why you made that decision, but you're still wrong. And I think that also with some people, like, looking at the negative side of that, some people may think I'm like wishy-washy, or I don't know, just, I don't know what the word is, you know what I mean? Just, they don't think that I'm like 100% in somebody's field, like, I don't know, or loyal, I guess. When for me, it has absolutely nothing to do with loyalty, because at the end of the day, like, you're still my friend, you're still, whomever, you know what I mean? You're still that person to me. But if you made a bad decision, I'm going to tell you made a bad decision.
Yeah.
Anything else? Should I ask questions?
Yeah, so ask any questions. I'm going to pull a few tarot cards. I'm using this deck. I have a few different decks, but I have this one. It's the Astro Crown Tarot deck. Then I also have an oracle, or 2 oracle decks. I have this Merhipsy one.
Those are pretty.
And then I also have this astrology deck that really helped me. And I love this deck, but yeah, this is just the astrology deck. So these are the 3 that I'm going to be using. So feel free to ask any questions that you would like.
What type of questions am I asking though? Am I asking like, how many children am I having? Or am I asking like, what am I doing next week? Like, what type of questions am I asking?
It could be like anything. So it could be super general. It could be more specific if you want. It could really be about anything. It could be love related, career related, finance related, anything really. So whatever you would like.
Okay. I guess I'll start off with, this year has been really crazy. I think we've all kind of had an up and down year. I want to know, in the next year, so a year from now, March 2022, what am I going to be focused on? Like, what am I going to be focused on? My career, my finances, like, what is going to be like, what am I prospering in what aspect of my life?
Ooh, okay. So I pulled one card from this deck, and then I'm gonna shuffle this one and pull another one. But what I like about this deck is that it also has the astrology in it, which I really like. So it is perfect for this reading. But let me just get one more card. Okay, so the theme for the next year is a few different things, which is really interesting. Okay. So this definitely is going along with what we were talking about. So this is perfect. This usually always happens, but yeah. So the first card that I pulled for you, this is a tarot card. So this is the 8 of Wands. So this has that Mercury energy that we were talking about, dealing with communication and everything like this. This does have fire energy since it is the 8 of Wands. So that's where that element is coming in. And then this card also embraces the Chariot. So what is interesting about this is this is pointing to a few different things when I'm looking at this. So the first thing that I'm definitely getting is the idea of travel is going to be a really big theme. We've been kind of talking about this a lot, but travel is going to be a very big theme. Going on these trips, but it's not only just going on these trips. You need to kind of learn something or take something from all these trips that you're going on. So maybe keep a journal or a notebook or something where you write down your lessons, write something that you've learned, really reflect on what you're learning from these trips and this travel. This is the 8. So this is kind of closer to the end. You're kind of closer to the end of your journey. You have all your sticks, you kind of have everything, and you're kind of like ready to go on to the next like move. So that is what this card is about. The next card is not very so it's no. So this can mean a few different things. So this can mean like if you were thinking of a question, like something while I was pulling this, it could be related to that. Or this could also just be, again, with being assertive with what your words are. This can also be about not taking every single job opportunity, or not every single partnership, or not every single thing. Just know to be very selective with who you spend time with. Like you were saying, be very selective with who you're partnering with, collaborating with, and just be very know that it's okay to say no to things. Maybe it's travel plans aren't working out with certain people. Maybe it's, you know, just certain things. Know that, be empowered to say no when you need to say no. So the last card, I'm just so excited about this one because it just fits so perfect. So it's the 9th house. This is all about learning. Which is interesting because we were talking about this a little bit. So this is about philosophy. This is about publishing, writing. So this can be pointing to a blog or something like that. This is also about discovering. But what I like about this is, like, you can't really see it, but it's like the world. So it's like you're traveling around the world, and it's this book. So this points to exploring, travel. This also points to foreign countries. So you might be going to some sort of different country this year. This also points to religion, higher education. That's one thing that you did mention, spirituality. So they think this is really telling you to focus in and hone in on your 12th house energy. That's the one about intuition and all that. So this is really telling you to, like, maybe even like if you're interested in this, like studying different religions or like learning more. I don't know. It seems like you need to be like studying or learning a little bit more about something. I don't know exactly what it is, but it seems like it could be in the spirituality realm. And I feel like the higher education that you were maybe talking about isn't exactly what you're imagining it to be. So I don't feel like you're like, this isn't pointing to traditional schooling. This is definitely pointing to something where it's like you can learn from people, or learn by traveling, or learn by communicating and using your skills. So that is the 3 cards for kind of the year ahead.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, especially because you had texted me before this and let me know that the moon is in Libra.
Oh yeah.
This weekend, so that I would be doing a lot of reflecting, a lot of just some deeper inner like work. And I've had conversations this weekend about what I want this next year to be, and literally I almost have like 3 trips planned already for the rest of this year. Nothing anytime soon. But yeah. All right. So that was pretty accurate. I will say that. Obviously, like Imani said, you can interpret these things however you want. However, that was pretty close to how I am, who I am. And I don't even think with the exception of really anything. But Imani is available for any service that she said at the beginning. Please make sure to go to her website if you want to book a birth chart reading or a tarot reading, like she just did for me. It is raeoncollective.com. Again, we'll be posting on all of my social medias. Imani, do you have anything else you want to say, or any advice you want to give anyone out there listening?
Yeah, so I did want to mention, since the full moon is in Libra, just to make sure this is a really good time to release anything you've been holding on to and really dive deep into your healing. So that's what I've been doing these past few days, and it's really good for everyone to also do. Also, if anyone's curious, my big 3 is I'm a Pisces sun, a Cancer moon, and a Gemini rising. So if anyone was wondering, yeah, it's a lot of water, and my Mercury is in Aquarius. So if anyone is wondering about that, that's mine. And yeah, I think that's about it. Make sure to check out Raeon Collective for tarot readings, birth chart readings, and crystals and everything like that. And that's all.
Well, thank you so much, Imani. And by the way, that was my advice for the week. Imani said to release and to let go and to start your healing, whether that be externally or internally. Please do that. That is my advice for the week. How long will Libra be in Moon, or Moon be in Libra?
So the full moon is tonight or today. You can definitely go out and see it. You'll be able to see the moon for the next few days. You'll be able to kind of see it, and that energy also definitely kind of carries on. Also too, like a lot of stuff from October 16th. This is if anyone's interested, or 16th, 17th, that date. A lot of that stuff will also be coming up this full moon as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. And yeah, so you can kind of just journal, look at the moon. I like to put my crystals outside, but you can also do that if you like.
Have some deep conversations. I think I actually know someone that was born on October 17th. So, and 16th.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you guys so much for listening. We're going to go ahead and jump into the news.
Okay, so I'm gonna just quickly go over the news because I know this episode is about to be like 10 hours long, but a lot happened last week. So I'm gonna start off with like the internet and like videos and just things that happen on YouTube. So David Dobrik posted a video, I believe it was Monday night, just explaining all the drama that's happening. I've previously talked about Vlog Squad drama on this channel. I guess the only thing that I want to add to this situation is that there were just more allegations that came out in regards to, trigger warning, like sexual assault with different people that were in David's videos, not directly towards David, but people from the Vlog Squad. So there's just a lot of allegations, a lot of things going on. David Dobrik posted a video basically saying I'm sorry without any of his publicists or his PR team really telling him to do so, actually going against their wishes. I thought it was a pretty sincere apology, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I remember those videos that he posted with said girls who are now saying that they were essentially sexually assaulted by, again, another member of the Vlog Squad. And obviously David didn't post those videos of like the action happening, but I do know of like that time period and like who the girls are and everything. And I remember even thinking back then, like, this is kind of weird. I don't know, just something about this doesn't feel right. And so I remember when all of that was going down, and me even as a viewer feeling like it was forced, and like there was a lot of things that just didn't seem right. So I don't know. I love Carly and Aaron, and those are the two members of the Vlog Squad that I will continue to watch. They came out with the video. It literally was like less than 3 minutes, and it said like, we don't stand for this. We're not okay with this. You know, we want you guys to know that. We had no idea that this was going on, you know, whatever. And honestly, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not a huge supporter of David's, which I think I've said in the past too. So I think more drama is still going to unfold, but it just really sucks that it took this long, really, because I feel like multiple people had come out and said that they had been in some way felt uncomfortable in David's vlogs, which is, I just wish more people would have listened and it would have been solved earlier, but whatever. Again, in the internet, so Miley Cyrus came out with a bunch of posts with the Hannah Montana account on Twitter, Instagram, like pretty much everywhere. There was some type of Hannah Montana reunion this past weekend. Honestly, I didn't really see a blow up on the internet, but I know for a fact that there was like a type of reunion. But Miley I just saw this video of Miley wearing a Hannah Montana wig, her singing Best of Both Worlds, and literally in the video it says, she goes, "We get the best of both worlds," and I guess that just means, you know, you take a little Molly and, you know, smoke a little weed. It's an upper and a downer, the best of both worlds. And I was like, oh my god, like, this is not what I wanted, but I don't know, some people were here for it. Chrissy Teigen left the internet because it says it wasn't beneficial for her anymore. More power to her. I just know that people were kind of sad that she was leaving the internet. But honestly, if the internet is not a good place for you, then don't be on the internet. it's your decision, right? It was National World Theater Day, and I'm wearing, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm wearing my Theater Kid sweatshirt, which is Colleen Ballinger's merch. I absolutely love this sweatshirt. It's so comfy, and the Theater Kid is actually like pretty well put on, and I really, really like it. And I was a theater kid. Some people say I wasn't, but I was. I was a musical theater kid in high school, did a couple of them, and I absolutely love musicals. So if you didn't know it was National Theater Day, go watch your favorite theater, like your favorite musical theater, your favorite play, like whatever it may be. I'm pretty basic. My favorite musical is Mamma Mia, and I can literally watch the movie version and Mamma Mia 2 like 1,000 times, and just, it makes me so happy. I've also seen it in the West End, and that was amazing, in London, and I just love theater. Specifically musical theater is more my jam, but yeah, I love it. Also on the internet, it was announced that Prince William, which is, you know, I think the next person in line for the crown. Prince William was named the sexiest bald man of the year. That's offensive. Like, I feel like that's offensive, like, honestly. And then people were like going to war, like, no, actually he's not, like, this person is. And then I saw a bunch of memes of like The Rock and stuff. I don't know, I just thought it was a cute little like meme moment that happened. Going on in sports, March Madness is going on. I'm hoping that UCLA wins. I record this a day before, so I'm hoping, I'm manifesting it into the future that UCLA wins. I'm also going to be watching the USC game later, as well as in cycling. If anybody follows cycling, the Volta, at least one of the Volta races ended this weekend, and Team Ineos, who is like the top like cycling team I think out there right now, got all 3 titles, meaning they got first, second, and third place at the Volta. And of course it's Richie Porte, Geraint Thomas, and oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the last name, but all of those names are pretty big in the cycling world, and I don't know, I'm happy. I love Richie Porte. I thought he was retiring this year, if anybody knows anything about cycling, but I guess he's not, and he's still winning a lot of stuff, so that's really cool. And then this upcoming weekend, April 10th and 11th, are the Masters for golf, and I will be watching that, so more to report. Going on to TV, so Demi Lovato's documentary launched on YouTube this past week. I watched both episodes. There's 2 episodes out right now, and I think new episodes come out every Tuesday. It was really intense, and trigger warning, I really feel like they should probably put one. They talk about a lot of stuff in her docuseries, but it came out on YouTube. It's free. I highly suggest you watch it. Yeah, and they just don't talk about her overdose. They talk about a lot of things in the first 2 episodes, and it was super intense, but I thought it was really, really well put together, so I highly recommend that you watch it. I also watched her podcast episode with Joe Rogan. Again, super intense, good episode. It's almost 3 hours long, so if you want to listen to it or watch it and have some time, I suggest that podcast episode too. And then I also watched The Falcon and the Winter Soldier this past week. Guys, it's not going so well. Second episode was boring again, and not to mention the CGI was really terrible, and no one seems to be really talking about it, so I think that the show might be going into a flop. I really hope that Disney's gonna pull it out and be like, you know what, it's actually amazing, here's all the good CGI, all the good action, the good storyline, but as of right now, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, as up to episode 2, is a flop. It's not that great. Disney Plus, what's going on? Disney, what's going on? Marvel, come on. Going into music, Lil Nas X caused a bunch of controversy this past week with his new music video. Honestly, I thought it was beautifully created. I thought it was fun, and honestly, like every other music video that's coming out right now, but because he is an openly gay Black man, a lot of people had a lot to say about it, and you know, there were some, I guess, like, religious references, like, there's like a character that plays the devil in the music video, but he went on his Twitter and explained the reasoning behind the music video, the thought, what went into it, why he wanted to make this music video, and a lot of people just came for him, and I just don't think that that's okay. I thought it was a pretty well put together music video. I thought it was actually pretty funny, like, and like cool, and like, I don't know, like, I feel like it's something we would have seen from Lady Gaga or Cardi B. Cardi B just released a music video for Up that I've talked about. It's exactly like that one. Like, I don't understand why people are coming for him, but whatever. And then, unfortunately, we had another mass shooting this past week that I don't believe was racially motivated, but was in Boulder, Colorado. I saw this news, like, this thing on the Twitter that was like, oh, like, this is what happens when we open the world back up again, at least in America, and it's like, it's just so sad. And I am so sorry for those who were affected by this mass shooting. If anyone is listening from Boulder, Colorado, or wherever, it's just like, what else can I say at this point? What else can anybody say about this? Like, yeah, of course it's wrong. Of course it's horrible. It's horrific. It's heartbreaking, but it's like nothing is changing. So what's going to make it change? That's my question. What is going to happen to make the world wake up? Yeah. Going on to food. I tried all the Starbucks new drinks. I didn't post it on my Insta stories, even though I thought I should, which I will. If you want that, let me know. But I tried the new shaken brown sugar shaken oat milk espresso. I think that's what it's called. It was really good. It's my new drink at Starbucks. It's really, really good. The other one, the chocolate almond milk one, not good. Do not get it. I highly encourage you not to get it. I also tried this other new drink. It's a guava green tea lemonade, or just guava green tea. Oh my god, to die for. It's so good. I know that that's like not new, but it's still really good. And I get it without sweetener if you're gonna put lemonade. I also tried the cloud pancake at this like local like breakfast restaurant next to me. If you don't know what the cloud pancake is, it's just like, I think the dough is different and how they make it. It takes a longer time. It was okay. I don't know. It wasn't that great. If you have a thing with textures, it's probably not for you. And then just to go over something in the world. So New Zealand announced that if a woman or partners or whoever it may be had a miscarriage or a stillbirth, you will receive paid time off for it. And I just think, of course, New Zealand is winning again with the realities of life, right? New Zealand completely shut down when COVID hit, and they have 0 cases there. They've had 0 cases. They were able to have like Christmas and summers and everything because they took the pandemic seriously. Now I know that they give like maternity leave and paternity leave in New Zealand for an extended amount of time than we do here in America. And now they just came out with, if you've had a miscarriage and or a stillbirth, that you are entitled to some time off, because those are horrific and traumatizing events that not only happen to women, but to men and everyone in between. Like, hello, like, it's a loss of life. Yeah, like, it should go under bereavement, you know, some time off for a death in the family or a death in general. Like, hello. It makes sense, like, when you say it out loud and then you look at our policies and what's in place and you're like, oh yeah, this could be improved. Like, come on, wake up, America. Other like countries are way ahead of us, just letting y'all know. And that's why I put this world like section in the news, because like we think that America is so progressive, even California is so progressive and so like above everyone else, when in reality, like, we're really far behind, y'all. We're really, really far behind. So we need to get it together. Just saying. But yeah, so that was all I had for the news. Again, ending kind of in like a harsh and like weird state of mind, I guess. But that's okay, because that's our world today, and that's what's happening in this week, in this past week at least. I hope that you all enjoyed this past episode. Oh my gosh, it was so interesting. And again, if you want to know more about Imani and Raeon Collective, I will be linking everything below, as well as all of my social medias. So please make sure to check her out. She's amazing. And I may be a little biased because she's my best friend, but also she is very intuitive, and she is just kind of starting out with her business. But she is already great at what she does. And so, yeah, please make sure to go check her out. Thank you guys all for listening/watching to this week's episode. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, leave a review. And yeah, once again, this was Honestly Hannah.